Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Davis and welcome to the BMW Cleveland YouTube channel. This is episode numero uno, number 1, and we are very, very excited to have you along with us. I guess something I want to talk about before we get into anything, you probably clicked on this video because you saw the title, which we're going to be going over sort of what I consider the first half of our collection that we've been lucky enough to start to grow here. But want to talk about why we're doing a YouTube channel. I am a huge consumer of YouTube content. I love, any channel that you name. I spend a lot of time watching car content on YouTube. And something I realized is I'm never watching anything from, maybe some smaller dealers make sort of, good content, but bigger franchise dealers don't do a good job at making exciting, engaging YouTube content. And if there are some out there that I haven't seen, my apologies, but not that I have seen. So I wanted to take a stab at it. We are lucky enough here to have an awesome collection of cars that is ever growing, and I wanted to share it with you all and also talk about, BMW Cleveland, how we got started, and who we are, basically. And hopefully this gives you a little bit of an insight to that. Just to introduce myself, like I said, I am Taylor Davis. I spent actually 6 years in Chicago doing accounting and finance recruiting, and then ended up coming to work back in my family business, which I am blessed and lucky enough to have a car dealership be my family business. I am a car person first. That's what I love. That's what brought me back. And just want to share that with all of you. We are going to talk about some of the cars we have in the collection. We'll probably look at, some of the newer cars coming out as they come out. We're also a Land Rover Jaguar dealer as well. So we'll probably have another side YouTube channel that will go over that brand. And also there might be a little project car action coming as well, which I'm excited about. Our technicians are excited about. So hopefully we'll all have something to share soon about that. But today is about the collection that we have started to, maintain, grow here. All that being said, let's get started. These cars all kind of came to us organically. As I sort of look, this is the first section we're going to be going over today, looking sort of at the sedans. You see obviously a lot of M5s here. We have an E38 lurking in the background. You probably can see some other cars over my right shoulder, and we'll be going over those in a separate video. But just wanted to take a time to walk through each car with you, sort of talk about how we got it, why I think it's special, the specifications of it, everything like that. And then as we go forward, there will be probably updates on these cars. And if you guys want me to go into greater detail about these cars, I'm happy to do that as well. And also we have to take them for a drive eventually, but that is not happening. We have been hammered with snow the last couple weeks. I think we got 6 inches today alone. So not gonna be happening anytime soon. These are all on summer tires, all rear wheel drive. So let's just take an opportunity. They're sitting here, they're lonely, wanted to give them some love and share them with all of you. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully exciting content to come in the future. The comment section below is gonna be huge. I need to know what you guys want, what you wanna see, all that good stuff. But again, this is all just about sharing my passion with all of you and sharing these cars because they're awesome. All right, everybody, first car we are going to look at is a 2007 M5, otherwise known as E60. By the way, this is my first time using a gimbal. I got one because I took a video before and it was all shaky and I was like, oh my God, people are gonna puke watching this. So if it looks a little weird, I'm learning how to use this thing. It's super cool. But anyway, sorry, just wanted to get that out of the way. 2007 E60 M5. I wanna say it's a controversial M5. It doesn't have the best reputation for reliability, but my God, the idea of a high revving, naturally aspirated V10, 10 individual throttle bodies, Formula One inspired, making its way into the homely, stately, I don't know, whatever word you want to use to describe the E60, wasn't loved when it came out, from an aesthetic standpoint, is crazy to think about today. And that really, as we work our way down, it's a shame that cars like this aren't being built. BMW is still building unbelievable cars, but these cars are just different to me. And that's why we've sort of, amassed a small little collection here. So to go over this car real quick, I was sitting in the showroom. This is probably about 1.5 years ago. Guy pulls his car in for service. I jump out of my chair. I'd been looking for an E60 for a while, a clean one. And I, walk up to him. I say, "Hey, sir, how you doing? Would you be interested in selling your car?" And he says, "Actually, it's here for a pre-purchase inspection for a guy down in Florida." And I said, "Okay, let me save you the trouble. You're not gonna have to ship it down to Florida because I'm gonna buy it." We ended up making a deal. That's that. Let's talk about the specification of this one. It is a 2007, so pre-facelift M5. It's the second model year. They did '06 was the first and '07. But '07 was a special year because it was the first year you could get the E60 M5 with a 6-speed manual. Yes, this is a 6-speed car. Wouldn't have it any other way. The SMG is definitely an acquired taste. I like it, but the 6-speed is the way to go, no doubt. So we have Interlagos blue exterior, which this car has been ceramic coated by our friends over at A2 Finishes. If you're in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, they do unbelievable ceramic work as well as XPEL clear bra or paint protection film. This car has, you can see up to sort of halfway up the A-pillar right here where the sunroof starts up here, hood, front fenders, the front bumper and the mirrors are all clear bra. So can't recommend them enough. I'll link them in the description below, but yeah, definitely check them out. Okay, Interlagos blue, M only color, awesome color. And we have the Silverstone Merino full leather. I really wanted an E60 that had the middle seats. So you had the base seats that weren't multi-contour, so they didn't sort of bend here, and they didn't have the active bolsters. Then you had the mid-grade ones, which weren't like these cushy ones. These are the, sort of comfort seats, but oh my God, I'm glad it has them because these seats are incredible. They're so comfortable. The active bolsters, you got the switch down there, so when you're going around corners, the bolsters will hug you. And this is back in the day when BMW said full leather, they meant full. I mean, stitching here, okay, stitching around this, stitching down here. I mean, who needs all that stitching? I do. I need it because it's awesome and I love it. The whole dash is leather. It's really, an awesome interior. Smells like the inside of a purse or something in here. This car has around 28,000 miles. Really good example. I wish I could sort of tell you that, the E60, my E60 has been dead reliable and I haven't had any problems at all with it, but I would be lying to all of you. So I've had definitely some issues with this car. And I thought that I was buying like the best one out there ever, and I still had problems. So if you guys want a video going into the issues that I had with this car, I'm happy to sort of go through it. It's running great now. One other thing that we did do to this car, this is a carbon plenum from Carbo Project over in Germany. It's not a full carbon plenum, so you can see it's kind of adjoined here. It's actually a stock plenum, the bottom of it, but looks really cool, adds a little bit of sound. The top is carbon, you can see it flexes. Definitely want to go some more aggressive intakes so we can get that V10 howl and an exhaust as well. But this car really, again, I can go into more detail about the issues that I've had with it, but also, what it's like to drive, because it is really special, really well-rounded. To me, this is probably the most well-rounded car of the group of M5s, which, if you can't tell, M5s are my favorite model of BMW. So that probably is good for the E60. Let's move on to this little one hiding right there, the E39. Look at that face. Who couldn't love that face? So this is the E39 M5. This one is a 2002. So it is a LCI, life cycle impulse / facelift model. You can tell by the headlights. This car actually is a funny story how I ended up with it. What ended up happening was I was at the grocery store, saw the guy pull into a parking spot. I have a problem. I have a big problem. So ended up basically going after this guy being like, hey, are you interested in selling it? Blah, blah, blah. We ended up talking. He was interested in selling it. Next thing you know, it's here. So this is, like I said, a 2002 E39 M5. Talking about this car, the GOAT, best BMW ever, best sports sedan ever, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on and on. There is no shortage of praise that has been heaped on this car. Is it overhyped? No, it is not overhyped. When I got this car, I actually ended up driving it for, a little over 3 weeks in a row. I just couldn't get out of it. It's really that good. It's the perfect size. The powertrain's unbelievable. Definitely very, very lucky to have it be part of the collection. As far as this car goes, it's a Texas car. It's got around 72,000 miles, I believe, but you would not know it. I mean, 72 is not that much for an '02, but it's really, really clean. And I love the titanium silver paint, one of my favorite BMW colors. And then the nice thing is as well, God, I don't even know the style name. I'm ashamed of myself. I want to say it's like style 62, but I think I'm probably wrong. Anyway, they have this shadow finish, which is actually similar to like E46 M3, the 18s. And once they get refinished, they never look the same. These ones are perfect, which it's hard to do. Talking about the spec of this car. So we have titanium silver, obviously. On the interior, we have the black sport leather. So it's almost got this like ostrich-like look, kind of. It's kind of weird, but I kind of dig it. I don't know. But like I said, this thing is really, really immaculate inside. Only thing I don't like is that it does not have full leather. You had to get the Heritage interior to get the full leather 2000 and later. So, but the dash all looks good. You got the Alcantara headliner, which is beautiful. The seats are in good shape. You have like a little tiny bit of wear there, but nothing bad. And I have the Briere wood trim. People hate on wood trim. We'll get to wood trim when we look at that little blue thing over there. I like wood trim in an M5. Sue me. I mean, aluminum maybe would be more sporty, quote unquote, but this wood is gorgeous. It has no cracks or anything like that. I love the wood gear knob. This car is awesome. Let's take a look under the hood real quick. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of note talking about this car. The grills are falling out like every old BMW. So looking at the engine, this is what makes this car so special. It's the S62 4.9 liter V8. I remember when I was younger, I was like, is that real carbon fiber? Yes, it is real carbon fiber. As you can see, the car is really clean. One tip, I guess, older BMWs, like E-chassis BMWs, like E46, always look at sort of where the hood pins go in, because this will be the first thing that will rust. So if you have rusty those, your car is rusty for sure. So this car is, like I said, in really good shape. The previous owner actually sold it to me with all refreshing. I think they were all, like a lot of them were Lemforder and stuff. So like OEM or OEM alternative suspension parts. So the suspension's been completely overhauled. I do have a new coolant reservoir as well. It needs just minor maintenance. Valve covers are leaking a touch. But the big thing I wanted to go with this car is I'm not going to go crazy with it. I'm not going to like supercharge it or anything like that. But I am going to just go sort of OEM plus dine-in, build. So I actually have the dine-in cold air intake, which I heard they're kind of a pain to install. They go down and they sit down like sort of in the bumper. I have dine-in exhaust as well as a dine-in strut bar, and that's probably where I'm gonna end it. I mean, I don't feel the need to like. We didn't see that. We didn't see that. I don't feel the need to, make this car crazy or anything like that. It's so good as is. But in summary, awesome car. If you haven't driven one, don't be like, they're overhyped, whatever. They're really, really that good. Are they good enough to be commanding 100,000 plus for the low mileage ones? No, but they're really cool. Really, really cool cars. All right, next car. Shocker. It's another M5 and another M5. So this is a 2013 F10 as the chassis code, M5. Probably the most misunderstood, unloved M5, along with this girl right here. It was the first M5 that went to a turbocharged motor. A lot of people poo-pooed it. It was definitely heavier, than the outgoing E60. Didn't have, that really high revving, naturally aspirated motor. So I think a lot of people sort of just wrote this car off. Now what we're seeing is this car is really having its moment, sort of in the sun. You're seeing examples get really good money on the, auction websites. And overall to drive, I was really, really impressed. I bought this car without ever having driven a manual F10. Oh, well, I gave it away. A manual F10 M5. I'd driven DCT ones, but I didn't know how it was going to be. It's such a good car, such a well-rounded car, sort of a lot like the E60. I guess to talk a little bit about the spec of this car as well, Monte Carlo blue, really the only color to have an F10 in my opinion. It's the launch color. And then it has actually a special interior, which we'll look at in a bit, but it's pretty loaded. Executive package, soft closed doors, which God, please don't break. And just a couple like sort of cosmetic touches. It's got painted reflectors, which you can see right here, which I love and I do to really like, you know, most of my cars. And then you have the LCI. So this is a pre-LCI car, pre-facelift car, but it's got the, I believe this is the competition LCI grille with the M5. And then you also have black side grills, which these would be chrome. And the front grills would really just be like a normal F10, which I think they're silver around the outside with black gills. So, you know, walking around this car, this one, I actually, one of my technicians was like, hey, my friend is thinking of selling his car. Are you interested? Showed me a picture. Yes, I'm interested. It's an M5. And here we are. So ended up buying it from him. You know, it's got, I think, 29,000 miles. Very happy with it so far. Like I said, this car has kind of a special interior. So if you look at it from sort of this point of view, it kind of looks black, but it's not. If you look at the contrast between here and here, it's a really, really dark gray. This is actually an individual interior. It's called graphite. Very rare. Now, we gotta hate on BMW. We gotta hate on 2013 BMW. So let's take us back there for a second. All right, 2013 BMW. What were you thinking? $5,000. This leather was $5,000, okay? The individual leather. But you don't get a leather dash? I could have spent, I think it was $2,500 or $3,000 to do the full black leather, just like a normal color. This would have been leather. Well, this is leather, which is nice. But the door tops would have been leather, would have been all leather down here, kind of like the E60. But no. So anyway, getting back to this. This is graphite. I had never heard of it before. I saw it on the window sticker, and I was like, what is this interior color? I kind of like it. It's a nice contrast between, you know, the blue, and it's a little bit more exciting than black, so I like it. This trim is the plum brown wood. It's also individual, splits opinions. People that get in it either love it or hate it. I love it. Like I said, I think an M5 should definitely have wood. So there we go. Bang & Olufsen sound system. You got the tweeter that pops out of the dash. You have the sort of nicer speakers down here. Absolutely bumps. Sounds amazing. This car to sort of drive every day is awesome. You know, it's got the multi-contour seats. They're not actually that supportive, and I didn't realize that pre-facelift don't have inflatable bolsters, which is kind of weird. But, you know, really, really cool car. Air-conditioned seats. It's got everything you want. And, you know, you drive this car around, and it's so comfortable, and it's so capable, and it's got a manual, which is just a rare thing to see today. Now, one thing, you know, about this car that actually, oh yeah, soft closed doors. One thing sort of that people talked about with this car was that, you know, it felt like the manual transmission was an afterthought, you know, and kind of like, you know, the E60, BMW didn't want to do a manual in this car or the E60. But us Americans were like, no, we want a manual, blah, blah, blah. Come on, gimbal. Look down. Okay. So, you know, we want a manual. And eventually they're like, fine, we're going to put a manual in the car. And it does just feel a little bit disjointed. The throttle calibration's a little off. It's a little jerky. It's a hard car to drive smoothly. It does have auto blip, but it just kind of drives weird. So that's the one thing I'll say about it, that a DCT car is probably quote unquote better, but this car it's funny driving around. And honestly, so I was out on a drive with my friend who has a Panamera Turbo, and I was gapping him a little bit. Now, we weren't doing anything crazy, just like, you know, on a back road, and he could not keep up with me in a straight line. So that tells you how fast this car really is. 560 horsepower, you know, definitely has enough power. And the last fully rear wheel drive M5, which means it's a little scary. Okay, I think that's it with this. Let's move on to the car right next to it. Okay, E34 M5. Misunderstood, but I don't know why. You look at the values, like E39s are crazy. E60s are getting crazy. F10s are even, you know, 60, 70 grand now for a really nice manual one. But these, no. These are still cheap. Obviously, those Tourings go for big money, but I think this is a really special, really cool car. Sort of, I guess, litmus test for me is if I look back at a car when I walk away. I cannot help but look back at this car every single time I walk away. It's that good looking. And this one, so it's actually a 1991. So it's sort of the first year of the E34 in the US. So I don't actually think the silver painted bumpers, the lowers, I don't think that's actually correct for this year, but I don't really care. Neither are the M parallels. I know that those aren't right for this year. Also don't care because it looks so good. This car was kind of a project. I actually ended up buying this one. This is one of the only cars that I actually sought out. Bought it from a guy in Georgia that I found on the BMW CCA classifieds. Car ended up coming and it was not great. The back of the car was sagging really bad. The paint was absolutely horrible. It had to be like a Mako paint job or something. Like, it was orange peeled. There were drip marks everywhere. It was really bad. It just needed a lot of work. We did a coolant flush and there was all this rust and crap that came out of the cooling system, and it's been a lot. I can't even remember. I need to have the RO in front of me, but I can definitely go into more detail, like I've said before, you know, about this car and the journey that we went on with it and are still going on with it, because you can see got a little leaky down there. Power steering line is leaking a little bit, I think is what that is. But you know, it's not perfect. We're still getting there, but it looks a lot better. We had the entire car wet sanded, so the paint, you know, looks pretty good now. But yeah, so this is a 91 M5. So it's black and it has the, I don't know if it's extended leather, because I've seen ones that don't have it. So you have leather here, you have that ruched leather on the door. I think this leather is actually buffalo leather. I think this is when BMW was doing that instead of, you know, cow or whatever. And it's aged. You know, I don't know if it's because the car was a Georgia car, but especially for whatever reason, this seat and this, like, it's so hard. And I've used so much leather conditioner on it, whatever, it doesn't seem to be able to help. You know, it doesn't have a leather dash or anything, but it's not too bad. It's warped a little bit. You can see right there. Yes, pre-wired for radar detector. Was very excited to find that. But yeah, you know, it's not perfect. We got some wear on the steering wheel. The seats, you know, they look good, but they're worn. One thing I'm really mad about, which he probably couldn't avoid it, but the back seats have been reupholstered. So you can see here, sort of a different leather with that white stitching. You know, it definitely looks different from the original leather down here. You know, we got stuff peeling right there. I mean, listen, I know I'm a perfectionist and it bothers me, you know, that this car isn't perfect, but you know, we'll get it there. We'll get it as close as we can, but it's completely rust free. As far as, you know, performance modifications I've done to this car, I tried to do a Con40 chip to it from Turner, but for whatever reason the car didn't like it, so I ended up sending it back. Maybe I'll try it again, maybe I won't. But the car does have a Super Sprint exhaust, and actually the front section had to be bought from Germany, so I went, you know, sort of Super Sprint all the way back. So it sounds good now, still not maybe as loud as I would like it. But, you know, this car to drive is very interesting. So it's, you know, it's got enough power. It doesn't feel slow. It's got around 315 horsepower, I think, from the factory. You know, so it should be making around that. And it just definitely feels, you know, fast, feels planted. Did new Bilstein shocks all the way around. So it definitely feels good. Now, and this is the motor. So this is the S38. It's a, I want to say it's a 3. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? I think it's a 3.5 liter inline six. You know, you can see it's got the individual throttle bodies right there. Definitely a great motor, but as you can see, you know, in here looking at this, I mean, this car is by no means perfect. You know, we're getting it there, but overall it's got good bones. So, you know, we're just gonna keep working on it. I don't see myself selling it. It's just a really cool car to drive, and people go nuts at it. I mean, because it just really is a great looking car. I mean, you know, come on, look at that, perfect proportions, everything like that. Yeah, and if you guys want to hear more about, you know, what we've gone through on this car, you know, definitely just drop a line down below and I'll go into it. All right, let's move on to the last car, which actually looks very similar to this one. Okay, the last car. This is a 2000 E38 740i, so short wheelbase sport package, otherwise known as shorty sporty, short sport, whatever acronym you want to use. And by the way, I've been trying to hide the cars in the background, but I can't really, so spoiler alert for the next video. This is my personal car. I couldn't resist. I'd wanted an E38 for a long, long time. I think it's the best looking BMW of all time. You know, watching James Bond, Tomorrow Never Dies, stuck with me when I was a kid. I really wanted a, you know, 740 short wheelbase sport package. Definitely an LCI, and really I think the sport package was only offered on the LCI models. But basically what that got you is it got you different shocks and sort of different suspension. And I did have this car up in the air, and it says M-Tech on the suspension, so it definitely is different. A different rear axle ratio. You got the Steptronic for the automatic transmission. You got the Vavona Redwood trim, and you got the multi-contour seats. So, you know, these are definitely the most desirable. Oh, and I think you got the blacked out trim here. It's not really shadow line, but it's blacked out. So, you know, I think that this really, you know, is the pinnacle of the 7 Series to me. You know, the current 7 is good, but it doesn't, this car had the best blend of luxury, looks, you know, comfort, but also this car is actually shockingly fun to drive. So I actually bought this car on Cars and Bids. I actually, it was one bid. I bid it all the way up to what I thought the car was worth, and I ended up winning. So, you know, was definitely very happy with the condition with the car. Had some oil leaks, which were kind of disclosed, but I didn't realize how bad they were. So, you know, this car got here, and then I proceeded to spend more money than I want to discuss, sort of getting it right again. So when this car came, actually, and if you look at the Cars and Bids listing for this car, you can maybe find it, or maybe I'll link it below. This car came, and the reason it sort of piqued my interest was it was a dine-in, quote-unquote, a dine-in 7. So it had a dine-in 7 on the badge on the back. It wasn't a true dine-in 7, but here, I'll actually open the hood for you, and I'll get into the interior on some of the stuff in there. Let's open the hood up. Again, grills are falling out. Classic older BMW, E-chassis BMW. So here's the M62 TU. So this is the later motor. This is the motor infamous for eating timing chain guides. The guides on this car looked good when we had the upper timing cover off because it was leaking everywhere. So I think we're okay for now. It's only got 74,000 miles. But the reason I was sort of, I guess, intrigued by this car is it does have some period dine-in modifications. So you got the dine-in cold air intake that makes super weird, like sucking noises, whistling noises. You have the dine-in software, which this has the engine software and the transmission software, and it has a dine-in throttle body as well. So it got some cool parts on it. Why couldn't BMW make paint that didn't flake on these? If you've had one of these, you know the M62s love to flake, and I think it's all sort of the V8s with those painted pieces. I'm gonna shut the head here. But, you know, overall, I am very happy with the condition of this car. It's really clean underneath, but had to do, you know, new brakes all around, had to get the oil leaks sorted. The drag link for the steering was making this really annoying noise. And also had to get, I ended up actually sourcing a stock rear muffler because this car had a muffler delete. A 7 should not have a muffler delete. And I put a 740 badge, the original badge. Gotta love the power trunk. I mean, I have the original window sticker here. $67,000, the good old days. And come on, it's not complete without. Yes, I have a full toolkit. I have the bulbs. Got everything you would need. So yeah, you know, this car, I'm definitely very excited. I haven't had a chance to drive it a ton just because the weather's been so bad. And then, come on, power close. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. And then just looking at the interior, really, really good condition. The seats look awesome. The multi-contour seats are super comfortable. Again, we have the Vavona wood trim, you know, a little bit of fading, but no cracking, looks good. Steptronic, which this transmission, there's no point in even using the Steptronic. I put it in sport, just sharpens it up a little bit, but it's a slush box. E46 M3 steering wheel that's been rewrapped. Super, super nice. I love it. Has the later widescreen nav, which is nice. It's got a Bluetooth module, so I can listen to my tunes. Headliner looks good. Yeah, I mean, overall, you know, very, very happy with the car, and it's been a long time dream of mine to have an E38. I mean, look at these end parallels. They are literally perfect. No curb rash. It's got this correct silver paint. It's got the polished face. I mean, I think they've been refinished, but God, whoever did it, I need to know, because those are hard to get right. So I think that's probably going to do it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I didn't bore you. You know, like I said, any questions you have about any of the cars, just write them below. I'm happy to go into more detail. Once the weather gets nicer, we'll definitely take them out for drives. But like I said, I just wanted to show you that, you know, even though we're a bigger franchise dealer, we're still car people first. You know, we love the older cars. All these cars have been worked on at our dealership by our master technicians, so we are capable of working on the older stuff. I feel like it's a myth where people think that the technicians at the BMW dealers only can work on the new stuff. Not true at all. You know, I'm lucky enough, and we're lucky enough to have some awesome technicians. Our average tenure is 10 years, so these guys have been working on them a long time. So, you know, definitely just very, very lucky to have them, and wanted to show you that we've worked on all these cars. We love these cars, and you know, just wanted to share them with all of you. So that's going to do it for me today. Again, Taylor Davis, thank you for spending, you know, this however long with me watching this, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thank you.